No, well,
Yeah,
I'm
probably
standing here.
Say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'll try to do it again.
Wait a minute, let me pick up the mic. Let's do it.
Jackie Pace is the one that killed her.
All right, tell me what you're doing, and if that's, use the term her.
This is a bullet from her body. In fact, this is the bullet that I'm going to call the fatal bullet. This passed through her lung, caused a massive internal hemorrhage.
How do you know that?
Well, I was there at the autopsy.
I mean, how do you know that's the fatal one if she had 3 bullets?
Because it passed through a vital organ. And the location of the other bullets are with my edge of my needle. I'm making scratches on here indicating the number of her case, which I've prescribed to her, and the letter of the wound, as I was able to determine at the autopsy. And I wrote that also on this little card, and we're now going to send that to the Georgia State Crime Laboratory, where the ballistics will be determined. The edge of the bullet, as you know, this side of the bullet are the so-called lands and grooves. And that's where the pistol leaves its signature on the lead.
So you can positively match it to the weapon.
The crime lab will do that. That's not my job. I'm not a ballistics expert. As a pathologist, I'm here to tell them what killed this lady. But as a forensic pathologist, I'm knowledgeable about what's important in the evidence, and therefore preserving the identity of the bullet and making sure that it gets transmitted to the Georgia Crime Lab with a tight chain of evidence, or chain of custody of the evidence, so that there's no spaces, so that no one could have altered this evidence by the time it goes to trial.
Okay.
Like that?
Yeah, like that.
Jackie Pace.
I was going to slip that into our evidence box.
Stick these in the evidence box. I don't think you want to see them. I'm sure put them in the slot. Okay.
Were these already, have you already been out of car? Okay.
Yes, yeah, these are home prepared specimens, and this is not the complete specimens that we're going to use. In other words, the osteology or the anthropology portion of the medical examiner's office and forensic training is an important one.
Well, how do you get, for instance, are there any rights that you have to go through to get to keep the bones and all that? Or is this, would this be...
Fully unclaimed or may have been donated to the anatomical board, and the anatomical board didn't want them because of decay or whatever. A lot of people donate their bodies to the anatomical board. Well, but at least the child had teeth.
Yeah. Same thing.
Halloween.
Why the crack in the skull there?
We have several more skulls upstairs. Chestnut Street. You can't tell from the skin color. They're black from not in color, but they're going to be causes of coming to the crystals. Come back to me and say, would you like to change your mind?
Doctor, how do you do a case like this?
Well, we're simply going to perform a dissection of this dead body to find out where the organs are that have been injured and recover the bullets.
How do you find a bullet as small as a .22? That's very small.
We use an X-ray. We have just X-rayed this dead body. The bullets will show up on the X-ray since they're made of lead, and they're denser than the bone. Let me show you. Here is an X-ray that we've taken of this dead man's chest here in the morgue. And you can see his bones. Looks like anyone else's chest X-ray, except that here is a dense object, and here is a dense object, indicating the 2 bullets that, and with which he was.
Yes, they both.
Look to me like they've probably gone through some organs in that chest, And in the chest, we have 2 lungs and 1 heart. And if you shoot any of those, of course, death is usually very rapid. And that's my job, is to autopsy and find out exactly what damage those bullets did and make that the cause of death for testimony, and to recover these bullets, mark them, identify them, and see that the crime lab gets them so that we can match it to the gun and later identify it at the trial.
Okay.
Murder. Charge will be, that's his professional opinion. We have both practical functions and statutory functions. If I got to the end of this case and I said, this is not a homicide,
I wonder if there is some way. I want you to work on.
what I'm doing is cutting here, right? There's much I can do now. I can measure. Are you recording too?
Yes, yeah, fine. Okay, anytime this week. Yeah, there you go.
Beyond him out.
Okay.
In subcutaneous tissue and pectoral musculature to enter the right chest space through the
Because the girls can slow it down. Someone says, "How do you think that the secretary can type that fast?" I say, "No. When she types it, it'll say, 'The bullet entered the chest.'"